Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto, or welcome to the channel if you're new, and welcome to this market update on the crypto market for today. We're going to do a full update. We'll talk about all the news, we'll talk about the fundamentals, we'll talk about Bitcoin, XRP, interesting altcoins. Basically, or at least the goal of these videos is always to keep you prepared for everything that's possible, as well as possible. So that's what we're going to be doing. Starting off with the fundamentals, there's no major economic data today. Obviously, the economic fundamentals do matter, and we'll talk about this in a moment. But overall, nothing major. I mean, this week, it's a bit of a tricky week. We have Good Friday, of course, on Friday, but every single day we have people from the Federal Reserve speaking. Wednesday is the biggest day. Then we have Jerome Powell's. A Jerome Powell speech. And every day there are some speeches, or at least there's some Federal Reserve talk, and we saw from last week Friday that one of those speeches actually did make the market move a bit, where they talked about quantitative easing and that they would be ready to use that if necessary. And that didn't make the market move that much, but still, therefore we do have to be, and in general we have to be on high alert for headlines. Outside of that, we also excuse me, that was a little bit in the mic. We also got the news that Strategy acquired some Bitcoin. We already knew that yesterday. Michael Saylor already posted a picture, but they bought for about, less than $300 million. That's relatively small, and that's why I don't think we have seen a market reaction, and that's also why I don't think we will see a market reaction. And then, that's kind of the news that's relevant for the entire market for right now. Now, talking about how the financial markets have opened, you can see stock markets opened slightly higher. They have a bit of a gap to the downside, a bit of an imbalance to the downside. Very high likelihood that that's going to get filled. And then the reaction to the gap matters a lot, right? If we get a good reaction to that, then it's highly likely that we're going to be able to remain stable and maybe get some more recovery, would be great. And if we get if we drop down below the gap and it functions as resistance, that's massively bearish. But overall, I'm actually fairly positive about the markets right now. That's my bias, and I'll tell you why, outside of the stock markets opening higher, which is obviously good. But then outside of that, what you can see is that the volatility index has also continued to decrease. It's still incredibly high if you compare it to the majority of March, but it's decreasing. That's great. And then you cannot see the chart, but the bond yields have also dropped down quite a bit since this morning. So that's also good. That means some more stability. All right. And then because we've spoken too much about financial markets right now, let's talk about crypto. And a nice little bridge is that those fundamentals are quite decent for now. Obviously, everything right now is very subject to headlines and what's going to happen, mainly between the US and China. But what we have seen so far is also that throughout the day, we actually have a Coinbase Bitcoin premium sneak in, and I'm not sure if most of you remember 2 weeks ago, but we had the same 2 weeks ago, and then Bitcoin actually held up relatively well against the stock market. All right, so that means that maybe if the stock market is not able to stay strong like it is right now, or at least relatively strong, that doesn't necessarily mean that Bitcoin is going to drop. It's still most likely, but these are early signs of someone buying Bitcoin and Bitcoin being a little bit stronger. And that's also, look, I still think it's pretty 50-50 what's going to happen with Bitcoin here. We have the value area high, of course, at 86,000. We want to break above that to get to that level at 88, 89,000. And then we have the main support level right here with the POC all the way down to the previous or to the monthly POC right here. Between 82,700 and 83,800. But to me, given how the financial markets are looking right now, in combination with some relative strength from Bitcoin, when we take a look at the order flow, but also technically, I'm slightly leaning towards expecting more strength here from Bitcoin. And I know that sounds strange, and that's also against what I've said this morning, because this morning I still said I thought it was most likely to get a pullback. And I do want to make clear, for me, it's almost 50-50 whether we're going to get that pullback into 81 and 80,000, or whether we can get continuation up to 88 and 89,000. But for now, I'm slightly leaning towards expecting stability, and then from that stability, a move up. which is a very risky thing to say given these market circumstances. And I do want to remind you, the headlines matter, right? They will make the price move as well. But for now, these are my thoughts on Bitcoin. And then talking about XRP, look, XRP is a little bit weaker here. It's holding its own relatively well as well, but XRP, I'd say that's a bit more likely to retest the bottoms right here between 2.07 and $2 before being able to break out, which it is going to be able to do if Bitcoin actually goes through with this as well. Because overall, talking about the entire altcoin market here, overall the correlation is very high, as you can see, and that might change over the course of this US session, but as we speak right now, it's still going on. So a couple of altcoins I wanted to highlight real quick. First of all, it's SEI. So this is that's SEI. I can write it real quick for you. I think this is relatively strong. It's trying to reclaim this level right here between 17 and 18 cents. Volume is also decent, as you can see from the bottom. So I will not buy this right now, but definitely a coin to keep on your watch list. Same thing with Maker. Maker has been able, volume a little bit lower, but still has been able to break above a very clear key level right here at 1400. If we're going to be able to hold that, I think we can touch those previous highs towards 1500. And Maker in general is also a strong project. And that is about it. I mean, there were some coins that I would say are a little bit scammy, that's moving quite a bit. So Orca, for example. And then we still have Ohm, of course. Ohm is relatively flat. I mean, this is just something I think you need to ignore. But yeah, that's it for now. I think that's what you need to know. So if you do have any questions, anything, let me know down in the comments. For now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.